Lexington, Kentucky is the horse capital of the world, and Keeneland is its finest racetrack. It was founded in 1936 by apparently a very colorful character named Jack Keene. Parts of Seabiscuit were filmed here. And in 1984, Queen Elizabeth paid a visit. It also holds some of the biggest thoroughbred auctions in the country, and Chef Bobby Flay has been known to purchase a horse or two here. As many times as I've seen racing on television, there is nothing like being here, listening to the thundering hooves and the horses' heavy breathing as they rush by. What a high that is. Hi, I'm Robin Bensley. Welcome to Chow Time. It's an early morning day here at beautiful Keeneland Racetrack in Kentucky. And we are watching these jockeys work out the thoroughbred horses, which is an amazing thing to experience as far as I'm concerned. And I think it's only appropriate that we do a really cool Kentucky recipe. This famous stew has been around since before the Civil War. And typically it has a lot of vegetables and several kinds of meat. In fact, the early Burgoo had blackbirds and squirrels, but I chose pork instead. I'm only going to use one protein in this. So we're going to start with, I've got a couple tablespoons of butter and a couple tablespoons of olive oil. This is 1.5 pounds of lean pork that I chunked into medium chunks. I want to lightly brown that, so we'll get that in the pan. And when I first heard about it, I thought it was pronounced Burgoo, but it's actually Burgoo. And nobody really knows where the name came from, but it could be, some speculate, sort of a combination of barbecue and ragu. Burgoo. That's lightly browned, so I'm going to add a couple of onions that I chopped up. Stir that in. I never like to put chopped onions just into liquid in a soup. I always like them to get a little bit of color on the bottom of the pan first. So we'll give that a minute. The onions are softened a little bit, so I want to add now a few tablespoons of flour. There's one, there's two, there's three. Cook that just for a minute. That'll help thicken the burgoo. Now we're going to add a bunch more things. I've got 1 quart of chicken stock. Two cans of diced tomatoes, juice and all. A 1/2 pound of carrots. And I have 2 cans of butter beans. I'm going to add to that. Lots of veggies. Mix those veggies in. Now some more interesting ingredients. A tablespoon of crushed thyme leaves. a teaspoon each of salt and pepper. And then a couple of things I've never put in a stew before, but this is also pretty typical. A1 steak sauce, about 1/4 of a cup. And Worcestershire sauce, about 1/4 of a cup. We want to bring this to a boil. Now, I'm going to cover it, turn it on low, and here's the thing about this Kentucky stew. First of all, you can imagine there's a million ways to make it. A lot of people love to use beef and chicken. Venison is very popular. With vegetables, often okra is used, potatoes, corn. Some people put barbecue sauce in it, some people put hot sauce in it. So there's a million variations on it. But the main thing about this recipe is they say if you take a picture of a bowl of it and there's all these big vegetables, colorful vegetables floating around, that is not burgoo. That's some other kind of stew. You have to cook it for so long, a number of hours, that it actually kind of melts. That's how they describe it. So a lot of the ingredients in there aren't even really recognizable. That's a good burgoo. So we're going to let this simmer for quite a while. Okay, it's been like 4 hours. Let's take a look. Look at this. It's melted, just like it's supposed to. But I do have to add one more very important ingredient. Kentucky bourbon. Right at the end. I'm going to add, maybe a little more than 1/4 of a cup. Stir it in for flavor. Turn this off, and I'm ready to serve. Look at this Kentucky stew. Oh boy. So many flavors. I love it. And as you know, I love food history. My gosh, before the Civil War, this was popular. It makes me want to go back to Kentucky, go to Keeneland, and I think I want to buy a thoroughbred racing horse.